This video will show you how to replace a rear window switch on a Subaru Outback. This will be mounted to your rear door. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. We're going to have the window in the upright position to start. Once we've completed that, make your way towards the inside door handle. Looking in this area, you're going to find a small plastic trap door. Dislodge that. For that, I'm just using an angled pick. You can use a small screwdriver if necessary. That exposes a Phillips head screw. Let's continue on inside of the door grab handle. Now down in this area, we can see another plastic trap door. You know what to do? We'll just use our small pick to dislodge that. Now that I have that bolt out of there, the next thing we're going to do is start dislodging the panel. Before you start prying it out and away, keep in mind you will have cables leading along the backside of the inside door handle, and of course a wiring harness where your window switch is. So when we do start dislodging this, we can only go so far. We'll have to reach along the backside to continue on. Now I'm using a plastic trim tool. I'm going to make my way in between the door itself and the door panel, sliding in between and gently prying to separate. I'm starting this from along the bottom. As you feel along the bottom of the door panel, you're going to find that there's a small area to be able to fit into. That's where we're starting. Now as you can tell, that popped free fairly easily. Let's continue on along the bottom, the sides, and then we'll end up along the top. As far as the top, you're really not pulling it away, you're going to pull up and away. Let's have a look in the back. Now looking along the back side, we might as well start with the cables. They're right out in the open here. Just pay attention to the orientation. Of course, during the installation process, they need to go back into the exact same spot. Take hold of the cable and dislodge it. I'm just going to pull it out and away. Now typically when you go to pull it away, this plastic portion will pull away first, and then you're going to have to roll this metal portion out and away as well. This one came right out. Of course, a quick inspection to confirm nothing's damaged, and we'll continue on. Same process for the next one here. Now we can see our electrical connector leading to the back side of our window switch. This has a locking tab. We'll squeeze it in and dislodge it. There's our locking tab right there. A quick inspection for corrosion. We'll set this aside. Now that we have the door panel off of the door, let's have a look at the inboard side. We can see our window switch. The window switch is going to be held in place with two Phillips head mounting screws. Once we have these out, we'll turn the panel over. Now we have the door panel turned over, we can start removing the window switch and panel. I'm using a plastic trim tool. Just make our way in here and gently pry it out of place. Now that we have that out of the door panel, let's have a look along the back side. We're going to start removing the switch from the switch panel. If you find you have any sort of tape, you can remove that. You don't necessarily need it. Now looking along either side of the switch, you're going to find that you have locking tabs. We're going to use a small prying device for this. If you have a pocket screwdriver, you can use that, or just a small flat blade screwdriver. Make your way in between the switch and the panel. Start separating it, and we're rocking the switch. Now while I have one side dislodged, we want to be careful that it doesn't reset, but we'll continue on to the other side, repeating this process. There it is, friend. Now it's time to install the window switch. The first thing we need to do is align it with the window switch panel. Once you have it in the proper orientation, align your four locking tabs and squeeze it together. Listen for an audible click. Double check each side to make sure it's properly installed. Now we can take the switch and the switch panel and we're going to align it with the door panel. Once it's aligned, go ahead and press that into position as well. Just make sure that looks as though it's seated, and we'll have a look from the back side. And this is where we have our 2 Phillips head screws. Once they're started in, go ahead and snug them up. Let's get this over to the vehicle. Let's bring the door panel over to being in position. Now the next thing we'll do is just have a look at the door panel itself. You're going to find that you have several locking push clips making their way around. Those push clips need to fit into their corresponding ports on the door itself, so everything's going to have to be aligned. Before we start bringing this all the way over, we want to pay attention to our window switch wiring and our 2 cables. We'll start with the window switch wiring first. Now as for the cables, we're going to start with the lower cable. That's the one with the black end here. We also have the blue. That's going to go up along the top for the door lock. Let's start with that black cable here. We're just going to start bringing it down inside the handle. Once you have the very end of the cable inside its proper position, we also want to lock down the plastic portion. Let's start with the black end cable here. Just going to slide that into position. Listen for an audible click, and we'll give it a tug. You do not want this falling off while you're driving down the road. Now it's time for the blue-ended cable. Same process here. You're going to find that you want to have the door lock in the locked position to be able to get this cable in position. Now we'll swing this over. Double check that cable as well. Let's start getting this door panel in position. Now we're coming up nice and high. We'll start bringing it down. Just double check to make sure you're completely seated, and now we're going to start rolling the lower aspect in. We want to make sure each one of those locking tabs is properly aligned and secured. Okay, we'll just tap that in. Just double check to make sure you're completely seated all the way around the door panel. Now that we have that secured, we're making our way inside the grab handle. We have our Phillips head screw. I've got that on a magnet. Just make sure that's tight, protect the area. Now we're up behind the inside handle here. Phillips head screw. Sure that's tight as well. Now that we have everything back together, let's make sure we test the functionality. Window down, window up. Perfect. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.